From Svitek comes a weekly digital series where he shares his insights, concepts, and findings learned during his 15-year journey of working in the entertainment industry. Each lesson offers you a roadmap to overcome the challenges that all artists face on the path to success. Welcome to a Svitek podcast.
Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 creative coach, and in this episode, I want to talk about a notion that I heard discussed. So just for quick context, I work for Cadence 13, and one of our clients is Yoga Girl, and she does a series called Yoga Girl Conversations from the Heart. And in the episode that I was editing, she talked about the notion that everything in our world doesn't support the idea that we are enough, right? It's in the sense that if you literally did nothing today, the world would not reward you for just being you. Even though, in a weird way, right? The paradoxical thing is we're kind of constantly told, like, you know, everyone's lovable, you are lovable, and you are enough type of thing. But you know that core message seems to contradict with, like, essentially society's actions, if you will. And I find that very fascinating. I don't, certainly by no means do I claim to have like an answer for this, but I think, you know, just by realizing that and being aware of it, I think are huge first steps. Because yeah, I you know, unfortunately in society, like, you know, we put such a value on like the work that we do and what we bring to the table as opposed to just being. And where I think it gets even more insidious, unfortunately, as I'm seeing, there's this idea that hard work equates to wealth. And to that point, you know, I've seen posts about like Jeff Bezos and all the money that he has, and I've read a lot of people's comments and how they feel about, you know, that notion. There's some people that are saying, well, he worked hard for the money, so it's not a big deal. And listen, I'm not going to deny that Jeff Bezos is a hard worker, but it's just, it's a fallacy to say that you can work that hard and essentially make over $150 billion, like whatever his actual net worth currently is. But let's just say, you know, $150 billion. Like how hard do you have to work to make that kind of money? And to that point, is he actually working that hard? Because I've seen various reports, like, you know, based on someone making minimum wage, like let's say a custodian, Jeff Bezos is theoretically, you know, just numbers wise, working 70,000 times harder than a custodian. And it's like, how do you quantify that? And B, that's just not true. So I think Jeff Bezos is smart in this. I think he is a hard worker, quote unquote, but at the same time, you know, I think he built a system and a platform and so forth, and you know, kind of went from there. Now, I'm not going to get into the idea, like, you know, I think everyone's allowed to have wealth and things like that, but I think he's at a point where he has way too much of it, and certainly, like, you know, if you have that sort of wealth, I think you owe it to your employees to also take care of them and allow them to have decent lives as well. But nonetheless, you know, it's just fascinating to me, again, that as a society, like, you know, overwhelmingly, a lot of the people that I've kind of been seeing, and like, this isn't just one example of it, the Jeff Bezos story, a lot of people just have this ingrained notion that the harder they work, the more wealth that they can accrue. And again, it goes back to that core idea that the only real value you have is based on the materialistic return you bring to the table. You know, like, the harder you work, the more money you'll get, and so forth. And then you'll be able to buy nice things. And like, it's a very capitalist / materialistic way of going about it. And, you know, there's a very famous Jim Carrey quote that says, like, I wish everyone in the world could be a millionaire, so that, and, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially the point of that was so they could realize that money doesn't buy you happiness. And it's true in this way, until you at your core start to realize that you are enough, and that, you know, that you you don't really owe the world much in that sense. There, you have to define your own happiness. Then you can, you will be enough. Last week I did an episode about a parable from Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. You can check that out. But essentially, the whole idea was how to live life on your own terms, and that, this kind of deep dives it from a different angle. This idea, again, you have to define for yourself what is success, what is happiness, because unfortunately there is nothing in at least our Western society and our culture that will validate the notion that you are enough. We might say it with our words, but from a societal standpoint, you're not going to be paid to just. I mean, the sad part is, like, we're in the middle of a pandemic and things like that, and yet we can't even. You would think it would be beneficial to essentially pay people to stay home so that way we can get this thing under control, and yet we can't even do that. So it's just odd in that way. So really, the strength has to come from you. You have to define it for yourself, what your happiness and your success truly mean. And to that point, please let me know what that does mean for you in the comments section. Maybe you haven't fully defined it, but where are you at with it right now? Just your base thoughts, I would love to know. And if you have questions or need a little nudge, by all means, write that as well. Ask questions, and that could be in the comment section down below, or hit me up on social media at Phil Svitek. I would love to converse with you. I think by you sharing your thoughts with me, I will get something out of it, and I will provide you with what I can as well. The more specific you are, the more specific I can be with an answer. So and we can help each other. That's the cool part. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you think this idea, this notion, this lesson would benefit someone else in your life, by all means, share it with them. I certainly would appreciate it. And further to that point, if you enjoyed this lesson but aren't yet subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. That way you get all the various lessons that I do pretty much every single day, so you won't miss a beat, essentially. Anyway, thank you for taking time to tune in. I hope to see you next time.